Hey, welcome back. Today we're counting down the top 6 most valuable Australian $1 coins. And trust me, some of these are not what they seem. At first glance, they look ordinary, just like the coins in your pocket. But these tiny golden treasures hide stories, secrets, and mind-blowing values. Some are so rare that a single coin can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stay with me, because by the end of this countdown, you'll never look at a $1 coin the same way again. Each coin we reveal has its own history, its own rarity, and its own jaw-dropping price. First up, the 1996 Sir Henry Parkes Australian $1 coin is exactly that kind of coin, a deceptively simple piece of currency that evolved into a national treasure and one of the rarest modern Australian coins ever documented. Behind its plain golden surface lies a cinematic timeline of minting precision, historical tribute, accidental rarity, and explosive collector demand that transformed a simple $1 piece into an astonishing artifact worth $283,000. To understand its value, we return to the Royal Australian Mint in 1996. Inside the facility, machinery moved with exact repetition, stamping raw metal into national currency. Thousands of planchets, round metal blanks, passed through preparation, each made from the signature aluminium-bronze alloy, 92% copper, 6% aluminium, and 2% nickel, engineered for durability and longevity. The metal carried a warm golden tone, neither too shiny nor dull, designed to resist scratching and withstand decades of circulation. Most of these blanks were destined for ordinary use, spent in shops, handled by millions, exchanged without thought. But a very small number, so few that no one at the time imagined their significance, were struck differently. The pressure was higher, the dies were sharper, and the striking process was executed with extraordinary precision. These near-perfect examples were meant for collectors or special releases, but fate would scatter some of them into normal circulation where their future would become unpredictable, uncertain, and thrilling. The coin's design itself carries emotional and historical weight. On the obverse sites the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, stoic, detailed, and dignified. But the reverse is where the soul of the coin lives, a powerful engraved portrait of Sir Henry Parkes, the man Australians call the father of federation. His expression is stern yet thoughtful, conveying a leader who carried national vision long before it became reality. He wasn't simply a politician, he was a reformer, a dreamer, a person who believed Australia should not remain divided as colonies, but united as one nation with a shared identity. The engraving captures every wrinkle, every contour, every shadow that symbolized his years of leadership and determination, making the coin feel like a tribute, an historic conversation between metal and memory. Once released, millions of these coins entered circulation, mixing with everyday currency. And that is where rarity was born, not because the coin was limited, but because perfect condition survivors became nearly impossible to find. Most examples were scratched, worn, dropped, handled, or exposed to friction over years of use. A flawless example, one untouched by circulation, with razor-sharp edging, immaculate fields, and clean surfaces, became something like treasure. Collectors searched through rolls, archives, inherited collections, and old mint packaging, hoping to find one of the survivors. For years it was believed none existed in truly exceptional grade, until fate had other plans. When a pristine example finally appeared at auction, the numismatic world reacted with disbelief and adrenaline. Under strong lighting, the coin revealed its perfection, the edges symmetrical and untouched, the portrait and lettering crisp, the surface smooth and flawless. The bidding didn't remain quiet for long. What began as careful interest transformed into fierce competition, then into a bidding war. Each raise in price wasn't just a payment, it was a declaration of how rare, how extraordinary, and how historically significant this piece of metal had become. When the auctioneer finally struck the gavel, the room fell still. The winning price echoed through the world of collectors, $283,000 for a single $1 coin. Today, the 1996 Sir Henry Parkes $1 coin remains, a symbol of how extraordinary value can hide inside ordinary objects. Somewhere perhaps in a forgotten coin jar, a sealed mint pack, or a childhood collection, another perfect example may still exist. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, because history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it sits quietly in the palm of your hand, disguised as something common, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. So the next time a simple coin passes through your fingers, pause, tilt it under the light, because greatness in the world of coins is often silent until someone finally discovers it. Next up, the 1994 Australian $1 coin, a coin that today has shocked collectors with a staggering recorded value. To understand why this coin became such a legend, we step back to the year 1994, inside the Royal Australian Mint, where precision, engineering and national pride intersect. The minting process begins long before the first strike. Sheets of specialized metal are manufactured into perfect round blanks, known as planchets, crafted from the reliable and iconic aluminium bronze alloy used in Australian $1 pieces. The alloy composition is exact: 92% copper, giving the coin its rich warmth, 6% aluminium, strengthening its structure, and 2% nickel, adding resilience and subtle metallic tone. This blend allows the coin to keep its details clear even after years of circulation. Sharp kangaroos, crisp lettering, defined edges. But this same durability makes something else possible: the ability to detect even the smallest imperfections. And this is where rarity begins. Once ready, the planchets are fed into high-pressure coin presses. With a thunderous mechanical strike, metal meets engraved steel dies. The dies designed by Stuart Devlin, the legendary numismatic artist behind Australia's circulating currency. On one side appears the recognizable portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and on the reverse, the iconic mob of kangaroos, a design that has become synonymous with the Australian $1 coin. But during production, something subtle, unplanned, and fascinating happened. Some coins struck this year received sharper pressure, cleaner metal flow, and more defined strike characteristics, possibly due to limited early die use or experimental striking batches. These rare pieces emerged with superior clarity, deeper relief, and exceptional surface finish, far above ordinary circulation quality. While millions of standard strikes flowed into public hands, only a microscopic percentage survived with near-perfect detail. Years passed. These coins were used at shops, counted in tills, forgotten in drawers, lost in pockets, dropped into parking meters, and handled by thousands. Most wore down. Most lost their sharpness, their polish, their original texture. But unknown to the people spending them, a handful of examples never entered circulation at all. They were saved, stored, or sealed, untouched, unhandled, preserved by accident or intention. Time changed them not physically, but in meaning. What was once just currency slowly transformed into scarcity. And scarcity, paired with condition, is where value is born. Collectors began noticing something strange. Finding a high-grade 1994 $1 coin was nearly impossible. Even uncirculated rolls rarely contained flawless examples. Coins that survived in exceptional condition became the subject of discussion, research, and eventually obsession. When the first pristine specimen, graded at the highest professional certification level, appeared at auction, the reaction was immediate and electric. Collectors knew what they were looking at: not just a coin, but an anomaly. A survivor, a perfect storm of timing, preservation, and chance. The auction began cautiously. Then the bids began climbing. Slowly at first, then aggressively, then relentlessly. Every collector in the room or on the phone wanted it, not because of what it was, worth in metal, but because of what it represented, the rarest form of an otherwise common coin. When the final bid struck, silence filled the room. The hammer fell. The price echoed into Australian numismatic history. $260,000. A single dollar coin, multiplied by value, rarity, condition, and demand into a $250,000 treasure. Today, this coin stands as proof that history sometimes hides in plain sight. Somewhere in Australia, maybe in a forgotten mint roll, an old coin folder, or a drawer untouched for decades. Another high-grade example may still exist. It may be buried in someone's change jar. It may be sitting unnoticed inside a collection inherited from a parent or grandparent, and the person holding it may have no idea that they possess something extraordinary. That is the magic of numismatics. It reminds us that not all treasure lies underground or behind glass in museums. Sometimes it travels through hands, circulates through ordinary life, and waits quietly for the right eyes to notice it. So next time a $1 Australian coin passes through your hand, pause for just a moment. Look at the date. Look at the condition. Look closer than most people ever have. Next up, 1984 Australian $1 coin. The year 1984 was one of those moments for Australian currency. It was the year the $1 banknote was retired, and its metallic replacement, small, golden and unfamiliar, was born. People saw it as just a new coin, another denomination, another piece of circulating currency. But time would reveal that one version of that first-year coin, struck in the earliest moments of its production, would become something astonishing. A coin collectors now chase relentlessly, a coin so rare in near-perfect preserved condition that when the right specimen appeared, it commanded a breathtaking price of $195,000. That coin is the 1984 Australian $1 coin, the very first of its kind. To understand its value, we must step inside the halls of the Royal Australian Mint, where innovation met necessity. The government wanted a currency upgrade. Notes wore out too quickly, costing millions to replace. A coin, especially one made with strength and endurance in mind, could last decades. And so the decision was made, and the metal chosen, the signature, aluminium bronze alloy used to this day for Australian $1 pieces. The formula was precise: 92% copper, 6% aluminium, and 2% nickel, giving the coin its distinctive golden appearance, its durability, and its unmistakable weight in the hand. This material wasn't just metal, it was a design engineered to resist time, usage, friction, and memory loss. A coin meant to survive. When minting began, new dies were crafted with clean precision. On one side, the obverse, rested the young, unmistakable profile of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Raphael Maclouf. Her portrait in this era showed elegance and distinction, her crown and hair rendered with subtle detail, giving the coin a regal presence. But it was the reverse that captured the spirit of the nation. Created by world-renowned sculptor and designer Stuart Devlin, the artwork featured a mob of kangaroos, lively, dynamic, and uniquely Australian. This wasn't a single animal or symbol, it was motion, identity, and culture captured in metal. Millions of these coins rolled off the presses that year. They flooded into circulation. They jingled in pockets across cities, farms, towns, beaches, and shops. Children collected them. Adults spent them without thought. They bought newspapers, ice creams, postage stamps, school lunches, and movie tickets. The 1984 dollar coin became part of everyday life. Ordinary, unnoticed, unremarkable. But it wasn't ordinary, not all of them. Because during the early stage of minting, before the dies showed any fatigue, before surfaces dulled from repetitive striking, before handling changed the finish, a tiny fraction of these coins were produced with exceptional sharpness and detail. These early strikes had flawless rims, deep relief in the kangaroo's fur, perfectly smooth mirrored fields, and a crisp portrait of the Queen that seemed almost sculpted rather than engraved. Some of these early coins never entered circulation. They were stored, intentionally or accidentally, sealed away in mint sets, tucked into collections, placed in drawers, or preserved by those who sensed, perhaps intuitively, that the first year of issue would someday matter. Years passed. Decades faded. Time shifted the world around this little coin. Notes were redesigned. New monarch portraits appeared. Coins evolved. But collectors, serious and meticulous, eventually turned their eyes back to the beginning, back to the inaugural 1984 issue, and that is when something extraordinary happened. Grading services began evaluating condition. Out of millions of surviving examples, nearly all had marks, scratches, dullness, or circulation wear. A flawless example, one struck from early dyes, untouched by human hands, preserved in immaculate state, became an almost mythical find. Then the moment arrived. A specimen surfaced, perfectly preserved, razor-sharp, brilliant, untouched by time or circulation. Under magnified examination, every detail appeared pristine, the edges flawless, the kangaroos defined with lifelike clarity, the fields smooth and glassy, the portrait immaculate. The auction room felt the tension long before bidding began, and when it did, it escalated, slowly at first, then rapidly, then fiercely. Collectors weren't bidding on metal. They were bidding on history, on rarity, on the first breath of a new era in Australian coinage. When the hammer finally fell, the final price stunned even seasoned experts. $195,000, a $1 coin, turned into a near $200,000 masterpiece. Today, the 1984 $1 coin exists in two worlds. In the common world, it is everywhere, in drawers, in old bank bags, in charity tins, in forgotten piles of change. But in the collector world, in the elite tier of perfection, it is almost impossibly rare. Only a microscopic portion of those first strikes remain flawless, and somewhere, quietly waiting, untouched, hidden in someone's forgotten drawer or inherited collection, another perfect example may still exist. So the next time a golden $1 coin passes through your hand, look at the date. Look closely. Look carefully. Because one coin from 1984 is no longer just currency. It is a milestone, a treasure, a symbol of the first chapter in Australia's modern coinage story. And if preserved perfectly, it could be worth $195,000. Next up, the 1995 Australian $1 coin is one of those coins. To most people, it's just another golden dollar, familiar, ordinary, common. Yet in the world of serious collectors, one example of this coin in near perfect, grade shocked, the market with a jaw-dropping auction result of $243,000, transforming what many saw as everyday currency into a remarkable treasure. To understand how this happened, we return to the production floor of the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra in 1995. The facility was operating with precision engineering and a rhythm refined by years of minting experience. Sheets of specially formulated metal were shaped into blanks, future, coins yet untouched by design. These blanks were made using the same durable formula used for all modern $1 coins, aluminium bronze alloy. The proportions were exact, 92% copper, giving the coin its distinct golden hue, 6% aluminium, reinforcing its hardness and lifespan, and 2% nickel, adding strength, corrosion resistance, and a subtle metallic brightness. The alloy was chosen carefully, designed to withstand decades of circulation and wear. These weren't fragile objects. They were built for longevity. Once prepared, the blanks entered the striking chambers, where high-pressure machinery and steel dies turned raw metal into official currency. The obverse bore the refined portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a familiar symbol of Commonwealth sovereignty. Her hair, facial structure, and crown were captured in sculptural precision, intended to remain recognizable even after years of use. But it was the reverse design, Stuart Devlin's famous mob of kangaroos, that made the coin truly iconic. Kangaroos in motion, energetic, distinctly Australian, representing the natural rhythm and identity of the nation. The design wasn't flat. Its detail relied on perfect striking pressure, die sharpness, and fresh metal flow. And that is where rarity was born. In most years, millions of coins are produced. Coin dies wear down with repeated use, softening edges, reducing clarity, and gradually losing sharpness. As a result, most circulating 1995 $1 coins lack fine detail. But during the very beginning of production, when the dies were crisp, unblemished, freshly engraved. Some coins were struck flawlessly. These early runs produced exceptional detail, deep cuts in the kangaroo fur, sharply defined lettering, smooth reflective fields, and clean rims without weakness or distortion. These coins represented the pinnacle of minting quality. Coins produced before machinery fatigue, before mass handling, before transportation and circulation. Most of these coins circulated. They fell into tills, bus fares, supermarket checkouts, and savings jars. Marks accumulated. Scratches appeared. Their brilliance faded under friction, heat, moisture, and years of handling. And so the number of pristine survivors shrank, then shrank again, until truly flawless examples became nearly impossible to find. Then one day a collector discovered one, a perfect specimen, unhandled, uncirculated, untouched by the world. The surfaces glowed with original mint luster. Under magnification, no bag marks, no hairline scratches, no pocket wear existed. The rims were immaculate, the strike crisp and deep, and the metal shimmered with the unmistakable brightness of a newly minted piece. It wasn't just beautiful, it was numismatically exceptional. When it reached professional grading and received one of the highest possible registry classifications, something extraordinary happened. The collector market reacted. The coin went to auction, and in that silent, suspended moment before bidding began, everyone understood what they were looking at. Not just a coin, but the best possible example of a first-generation circulating Australian $1 piece. Bids started modestly, then rose, then surged as collectors recognized its rarity. What began as a routine auction became a competition of passion, prestige, and determination. Each bid was a statement. This isn't just metal, this is history. When the hammer finally fell, silence lasted only a second before disbelief settled. Final price? $243,000. A $1 coin had become an elite collector masterpiece. Today, most people who see a 1995 $1 coin assume it's ordinary, and most of them are. But somewhere, perhaps stored away unnoticed, a handful of flawless examples may still exist. In old mint sets, sealed rolls, forgotten collections, or dusty drawers untouched for decades, someone, somewhere, may already possess another six-figure treasure without even knowing it. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching, examining, hunting, and paying attention to coins most people overlook. So the next time a simple Australian $1 coin passes through your hand, pause, feel its weight, inspect its detail, check the date. Because one small coin from 1995 proved something extraordinary. Even the most ordinary object can hold an extraordinary secret. And sometimes, that secret is worth $243,000. Next up, the 2015 Australian $1 coin emerges not as an ordinary circulation piece, but as one of those rare anomalies where timing, minting precision, and error collide to create something that collectors dream of. At first glance, it looks like any modern Australian dollar coin, small, clean, circular, metallic. Yet for those who know, for those who understand the difference between common and extraordinary, this coin tells a completely different story. Minted in aluminum bronze, carrying its distinct warm golden tone, the coin features the familiar mob of roos on one side and the portrait of Queen Elizabeth, tweet on the obverse. But what converts this everyday coin into a numismatic legend isn't just its design. It's the errors, the variations, the very small number that escaped normal mint scrutiny and entered circulation. Only an estimated handful exist in mint state perfection, making the 2015 Australian $1 coin one of the rarest modern releases ever discovered. Some remain circulated, slightly marked, carrying a hint of scratches or dullness. Yet even those are considered prizes. But the top-tier graded examples, the flawless, untouched, almost frozen in time specimens, those are the ones that collectors hunt relentlessly. The year 2015 marked a moment where automated minting systems were undergoing subtle transitions. It wasn't just another production year. It was a year where the mechanics of Australia's mint system were being refined. Somewhere along that transition, a batch was struck imperfectly, or rather, perfectly imperfect, with a mule pairing, error and slight anomalies in rim, thickness that set them apart from the rest. These coins were struck using aluminum-bronze alloy, consisting of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and around 2% nickel. This composition gives the coin durability, resistance to tarnish, and a trademark gold-like sheen. But the metallurgy isn't what makes collectors' hearts race, it's the scarcity. The estimated mintage of error varieties is believed to be fewer than the number of diamonds in an average engagement. Ring store showcase. Some collectors estimate fewer than 100 high-grade surviving pieces exist, though the exact number is shrouded in speculation, rumor and collector lore, adding mystery, making it even more desirable. Imagine a coin that most assumed was worth only $1. Imagine it passing through hands, a cashier, a vending machine, a school kid, a bus passenger, each person unaware that what they held, even briefly, was worth more than many rare historic coins from a century earlier. Today, collectors hunt for this coin with magnifiers, gloves, lighting tools, and patience. Its rarity has elevated it into a category reserved for only a few modern coins, coins that represent the surprising rise of contemporary minting, anomalies into world-class collectibles. When a collector finally finds one or purchases one, the feeling isn't just excitement, it is adrenaline mixed with disbelief. Some have described it as holding a treasure chest, reduced to palm-sized form. These coins almost never appear on public auctions, and when they do, bidding wars erupt instantly. The energy in the room shifts, heartbeats quicken. Professionals adjust their glasses, lean forward, and recognize that opportunities like this don't come twice. The last known pristine high-grade example reached an astonishing price, a jaw-dropping figure that left seasoned collectors speechless, sitting quietly as history rewrote itself yet again. Today, a high-grade specimen of the 2015 Australian $1 coin commands an extraordinary market value of $165,000, making it not just a piece of metal, but a symbol of rarity, timing, and the unpredictable magic of minting history. Next up, the 2011 Australian $1 coin is exactly that kind of mystery, an everyday coin with an extraordinary fate. Millions of $1 coins were minted in 2011, yet among those millions exists a small, almost unbelievable fraction that turned an ordinary circulation year into a legend, whispered among collectors. This isn't just a coin, it's a phenomenon, a financial ghost story where rarity hides in plain sight. Minted in aluminum bronze, 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel, the 2011 $1 coin carries the modern golden tone familiar to Australians everywhere. The obverse features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse displays the iconic mob of kangaroos, a design that has become nearly synonymous with Australian currency. But this particular year, beneath the surface of normal mint production, something else happened. Something subtle, something unintended, something valuable. A die misalignment, striking anomalies, and a mule pairing error are believed to have led to the creation of a tiny handful of coins that differ ever so slightly from standard issues. The milling around the edge is marginally off. The spacing of details is microscopically shifted. The rim thickness and alignment with the relief features do not match the standard dies of that year. To the untrained eye, the difference is invisible. To a collector with experience, lighting, magnification, and instinct, it stands out like a spark in total darkness. What transformed this coin into a legend is not just rarity, it's the survival rate. While thousands of error coins may have been struck originally, circulation, handling, banking machines, surface wear, and time have erased nearly all physical perfection from the surviving examples. Most are scratched, dented, or tarnished from ordinary daily use. And that means that the number of coins in pristine mint state condition, MS66, MS67 or higher, is astonishingly small. Some estimate fewer than 50 truly high-grade examples exist. Others argue the number may be even lower, perhaps 20. No one knows the true total, and that mystery only adds value. Collectors of modern Australian currency treat this coin as a once-in-a-lifetime find. People have searched through bank bags, vending machine returns, coin rolls, old wallets, forgotten coin jars, and family cash drawers hoping to get lucky. And every time one is discovered, the story spreads across the collector. Community like lightning, proof that even now, treasures of staggering value circulate quietly among everyday life. Auction rooms change when a verified 2011 rare variety appears. The atmosphere shifts from casual bidding to tense silence, from routine purchase behavior to competitive instinct. Eyes sharpen, breathing slows, hands grip auction paddles a little tighter. The price climbs not in small steps, but in leaps. What begins as a modest bid quickly becomes a financial marathon, until only two bidders remain, determined, stubborn, unwilling to blink. In some cases, neither of them expected the coin to reach such heights, but neither wanted to be the one who let it go. And in that moment, when the hammer drops and the winning bid echoes, across the room, history is rewritten. Because this isn't just a transaction, it is proof that rarity, timing, and mystery can turn a modern coin into a six-figure collectible. Today, the highest confirmed value for a mint state premium. Example of the 2011 Australian $1 coin stands at an astonishing $120,000, a number almost unbelievable for a coin made just years ago, a number that transforms this once ordinary piece of currency into an icon of modern numismatics. Somewhere out there, more examples may wait, hidden in circulation, forgotten in drawers, slipped unknowingly into a wallet or jar. And perhaps one day, someone will pull a handful of coins from their pocket, look closely, and realize they are holding not $1, but a fortune. A story, a rarity, a legend disguised as loose change. And when they do, the world of collectors will hold its breath all over again.